Stoke, what stuck out from Michael Ojemudia, the cornerback?
Good corner. Obviously, plays a lot of zone, which we'll see here with Vic Fangio. So I think you look at the scheme that Vic wants to run. I think you got to see O.J. Moutier and how much zone he played at Iowa because he played a lot of zone. They obviously would mix it up and play some man, but predominantly played a lot of zone over there. He's got good instincts. You saw early in the game, the first or second play, maybe fourth or fifth play, he did a great job of reading the quarterback, dropping back in his zone area,
Yep.
and saw the quarterback starting to scramble to the quarterback's left and had a guy in front of him, and obviously you want to take away the deep and then come up and play the short stuff, and he made a break on the ball. He read the quarterback tried to throw it out in the flat, and he had a pick six and just dropped it. Just dropped it.
It looked
just
like
dropped it.
it looked like the hand of the receiver was in there a little bit and may have caused enough disruption for him, not to haul it in.
Exactly. So had a chance to make a big play there, but besides that, you watch his instincts, right? You watch that play and you see the break on the ball and you see the things that he's just got really good football IQ, route recognition. Because you can tell. Usually you run if you got a two-man concept, okay, you run a hitch, you run a corner route, right? So he does a good job of recognizing route combinations and breaking on it, and he's aggressive. He's got great instincts, and to me, it looks like he's got really good football IQ. Likes to tackle, all those things that you would think that Vic would really like, and hence why, like you brought up a good point. I mean, why they took him. I mean, that's Vic had to say, hey, this guy I think would fit perfectly in my type of scheme here with the Broncos. So he played really, really well in that game against USC bowl game, his last ever football game, right?
Yeah, his last ever football game, and I agree with you.
What were your big takeaways?
He just looked like a good football player. I didn't see anything that was like, eye popping. There was no, over the top highlight of him having a pick six or anything like that. But you see a guy who looks like he's got good football acumen and tendencies. And you mentioned that one play that, breaking up that pass that could have been a pick six. I noticed a lot of the times he was, and of course I agree with you, willing tackler. I think he ended up having 5 stops in the game,
Yep.
but looks like a sure tackler. And I noticed a lot of the game, and I can't vouch for it for every single play, but for a lot of the game, he's matched up across from the terrific wide receiver Michael Pittman, number 6 there for USC, who was a part of this big, deep wide receiver class. I believe he ended up going in the second round to the
Early
Colts,
second.
I think.
Yeah, early second.
Was it early second? Okay.
Yeah, yep.
But he's a really good football player at USC. Their leading receiver, in fact, and he was held in check. He wasn't shut out, but he was held in check, largely due to Ojemudia's efforts there.
Yeah, and you saw Moutier, he basically stayed on one side, and that's the defense's right side. So, yeah, but he went up against Pittman quite a bit, and like you said, he held his own and made a few plays there. And I believe it was him. I don't really recall if it was him or not. I think there was a strip fumble on Pittman during that game, and it was Ojemudia. So I'm going back and kind of going through this thing, but if I remember correct, it was Ojemudia that had the strip fumble on Pittman Jr. I believe it was, and Iowa ended up recovering that one. So this guy's just a good football player. When we had their who did we have on from Iowa? Their play-by-play guy?
Their play-by-play guy. Oh, man, what's his name?
Really, really, really good, and he gave us a lot of good insight. But the thing that he said was Ojemudia loves to tackle, loves to hit, and that's what you see from him. He doesn't shy away from contact. I think he's going to be a really good fit in this defense. Now, how quickly can he get up to speed, right? How quickly can he get up to speed when it comes to Vic Fangio's defense with not having an offseason? A lot of people are talking about, he's kind of projecting to be the starter. And I'm like, whoa, really? I mean, this guy's got a lot to learn. It wasn't like he's a top 5 pick. They got this guy in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
So let's hold our horses here on all of a sudden just crowning this guy as a starter opposite of A.J. Boye. I think he's got a long way to go. But you see the instincts. You see the football IQ, the willingness to tackle. And now you know why the Broncos selected him when they selected him.
Well, yeah, he was a 77th overall pick, by the way. He was their first pick of 3 third-round picks. So you obviously saw the way that he was prioritized, and man, I had a little bit of an issue. I shouldn't say had. I have a little bit of an issue where he was drafted. I thought you could have grabbed him with any of your third-round picks, more than likely. But you do roll the dice in that scenario, and
you love him, you take him, right?
If you love him, you take him. And the Broncos loved him. I mean, that much is clear. This guy goes before. You think about this cornerback out of Iowa, who was listed at the time he was picked as the 10th best available cornerback from ESPN, and many other outlets had him as a late round pick. When he's taken off the board, the number 1 center, Matt Hennessy, is still on the board, who the Broncos tried to trade up for. So this is one of the things that, I think we need to look at, that, if Matt Hennessy was the Broncos guy all along, right, and they tried to trade up, and so they pick at 77 and 79 with the New York Jets, if Matt Hennessy goes on to be an all-pro center and, Michael Ojemudia is just a guy or not what they hoped that he would be, it's one of these things that we'll look back on and say, man, that was, you overdrafted him. But if he does hit the way that I believe the Broncos think that he's going to, we're talking about them being a visionary, because only the Broncos had him slotted as high as they did.
Yeah, but you look at it, that just tells you they loved Ojemudia a lot more than they loved Mr. Hennessy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're saying. They prioritize this guy, Ojemudia, a lot more than the center, Hennessy. From where was he from? Temple?
Temple, yep.
Yeah. So they didn't want to lose him. They could say, you know what, if we lose Hennessy, we lose Hennessy. But they're telling you that they really do like this guy. But obviously, we'll follow it, and that's the interesting thing about the draft. You can always look back in 2 or 3 years and say you overdrafted him, or you shouldn't have prioritized him so high. But we'll see.
Yeah. Going back to the tackling portion of it, and I'm just looking back here at my notes from around draft day or that weekend. You're talking about the tackling. One scout called him, and I know you'll remember this quote, Stoke, quote, an affectionate tackler who loves to hit. And in high school, he didn't like playing cornerback because he didn't get to be involved in enough collisions. So that just endears himself to Vic, because that's something from Vic that he has been on record saying it's, quote, non-negotiable.
Yes, absolutely. And you want to get good football players, and you look at this guy. Maybe a lot of scouts don't project him to be this all-pro cornerback, but when you're looking at him, you see a good football player that loves football, loves to compete, plays hard, and just really has good football IQ. These are the types of players you want on your football team. So we'll see how it plays out. But I like the kid. I like the kid. It looks like he'll be a good fit. Looks like he could be a really good fit for Vic's defense, and but obviously we'll see how it all plays out for him.